Hey, you're listening to the Road to a Billion podcast. I'm your host, Stefan Georgi, and I'm glad to have you with me here today. The Road to a Billion is a call-in radio show style podcast where you can ask me questions about freelancing, copywriting, entrepreneurship, mindset, scaling funnels, relationships, money, and really pretty much anything else. The reason for the name The Road to a Billion is because I will have hit $1 billion in sales this year for both my own products and products of my different clients through copywriting and digital marketing, things like that. And I want to make a direct impact in the lives of 1 billion people over the next 10 years. So we'll start taking calls in about 30-ish minutes from now. By that, I mean, you'll be able to put your questions into the Q&A section in Zoom here. And then my good friend Ed Reay will go through, review those questions and feed them to myself and my special and awesome guest, who I'll introduce in a moment as well. Before I get to my guests though, Ed, do you want to go ahead and say hi to everybody and introduce yourself?
Yo, what's up? My name's Ed Reay. I specialize in Facebook compliance and helping people scale up on Facebook without worrying about the ban hammer, and helping copywriters expand their mindset, expand their vision, and find more of that, not necessarily balance, but finding a really fun life that they really enjoy without having to work their butt off.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, so like I said, put your questions into the Q&A and Ed will go through and feed them to us in about half an hour. Also, I do want to say really quickly that I have episode 2 of the docuseries that Jude Charles has been doing with me up on YouTube. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll put the link in the chat. And I'm also going to be putting it into the YouTube description for people who watch the replay. It's about 10 minutes long. It's pretty badass. You should definitely check it out. If you haven't already, I will pop it into Facebook Live there as well. And now, with that being said, let me introduce my awesome guest. So today we are joined by Los Silva. If you don't know Los, he's been building brands online for over a decade. He is the head of an 8-figure marketing agency and multiple 7-figure sister companies dedicated to brand building, customer acquisition, and ultimately scaling businesses. And one of Los's most recent wins, which I'm sure we'll talk about today, was taking a company from $30,000 a month to over $4 million a month during COVID, which is pretty badass. He's known for building and selling brands using influencer marketing, and he's worked with some of the top influencers and celebrities in America. Los, I am super stoked to have you on here. Thanks for joining me.
What's up, man? Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, first and foremost, I think I first heard of you when you were partnered with Tanner Larson back in the day. And I think Laura was writing copy for you guys, but that was, 2011 or something, or 12 or something, a long time ago.
Yeah. How to make courses for us.
Yeah. And you guys were doing stuff with ClickBank and all that kind of stuff. And you've both obviously gone and done a lot since then. So let's start with the present. I mean, what are you, I kind of read your bio, but like, what are you most focused on today? Like, what are you doing? How are you spending your time?
I'm working a lot with influencers, more so almost like bigger influencers in the 5-10 million kind of space, numbers wise, and helping them kind of build and execute brands, whether as a consultant or some sort of equity partner inside of that.
Awesome. So by the way, I just realized on the Facebook Live, I'm like, nobody's watching, and I had it locked to only me. So I just realized, I'm like, oh, that's why nobody was on. So whoopsie. But okay, awesome. So how did you get into that? What took you down that path?
It was a massive accident. So we had an agency. We've had an agency for a while, but probably like 6 years ago, a dude came to us and he was like, hey, I don't really have a brand. We were working with more expensive clients that were doing something already. He came, he had some notoriety, and he was like, hey, I don't really have anything, but if you can make something work, I'll give you 50% of the business. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. But we'll give it a shot. And we gave it a shot, and it didn't work at the beginning. We kind of flipped the offer, and that ended up being our first big brand that kind of hit 8 figures. It just started, one day I was at the gym and it was 9 a.m. and we had made 16K. And I was like, what is this? Like, what happened? And then just from there, just kept scaling and scaling. And then I tested it again. I was like, well, let me grab another influencer and another one and another. And for a while, we kind of flipped the model and stopped doing agency work. We started kind of more so partnering with influencers, which was good, but it was also a great lesson because influencers are not business people. And so they think very differently of what your goals are are, scaling a business, with e-commerce and stuff, usually trying to build either a portfolio to sell it or something that like hits a good EBITDA, like a good super net, let's just call it, for people that don't know what EBITDA is, and then sell it, right, for a multiple. And they just wanted a check. Bigger checks every month. You make a bigger check, they want a bigger check, and they don't look at like, well, there's inventory, there's new hires, there's this. They're like, no, I just want a bigger check. And so, we sold some of those brands and kind of went back into the model more, being way more exclusive on who we work with in the partnership capacity. And we went back to like, more of a direct response kind of copy, not copy, but direct response experts at like, sharing in the profits of scaling with brands. That got us to, once we started working with a few influencers, bigger influencers, kind of figured out who we were. And then we started working with them. And then that just kind of snowballed into a lot of relationships in LA with like Hollywood people and different stuff like that. And so now we're working with a lot of, I would say like, I don't want to say B or C list because I don't want to like offend them, but like not fully A, we don't have like superstars there, but we have a lot of people that a lot of people recognize that we're working on now and their brands, whether it's digital, and with some of them it's merchandise, it's e-commerce, it's brands, it's supplements and stuff like that.
Awesome. So the first one you worked with by accident, what was like that kind of product or offer?
An offer in the keto space.
Nice.
We had a NDA before we sold it all out, so I can't like be specific about it.
Yeah.
But it was an offer in the keto space. And at one point, we would see like the Google trends, and we would see like against like what we were spending on, and we we're like, man, we're literally driving Google trends right now. We're spending so much.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. It was a lot of good stuff to learn, and then we got into just more general fitness. That kind of spun into a lot of fitness famous people. And then after that, I kind of took a turn into working with like famous entrepreneurs, so to speak, because they got both sides, right? They had influence, but they also like were like, oh, how do we scale this business? And so that kind of took us into more working with, like thought leaders, celebrities in particular spaces. And we've been able to do a lot of stuff with that. And so now the agency's kind of split. We have two agencies, actually. One that just focuses on thought leaders, and the other one I have with my good friend Josh Elizeche from Snow Teeth Whitening, and that's all for direct response e-commerce D2C stuff.
Nice. By the way, I'm so impressed that you were able to just pronounce Josh's name like that smoothly, because every time I see it, I'm like, Josh,
I know him very well because, my partners, I've learned to figure it out. But it's funny because like everyone else, I just call him Josh Snow.
Right.
Like, oh, got it. That's easier,
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, Justin Goss, my partner in Copy Accelerator, and he still says my last name wrong. And like, I literally call him out on it, and he's just like, yeah, it's too late now. And I'm like, what the hell? But, it's I think a sign of respect for sure, but not really. Mike Balmaceda says Los is a man, and then gave you a goat emoji on Facebook Live. So that's pretty cool.
That is my boy, man. Me and Mike are doing a lot of cool things as well.
Nice.
You should have Mike on the podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I'm down. I tell him Mike hit me up. So yeah, it's interesting though to go from like just like the pure sort of influencer people to people with more business savvy, which makes sense, right? Because it's very, and I think this is a good lesson for freelancers, copywriters, people who are earlier on in their career. But honestly, even like I see this with like copywriters who get to like a decent level and then they're getting offered 50% of companies, kind of like what you did, and you were wary of it, although it worked in your case. But a lot of times, unless someone's like, hey, I've got a good idea, so can you write the copy, build the funnel, drive the traffic, manage fulfillment inventory, and run the whole business, and I'll give you 50%. But the way they hear it is like, oh, I'm getting 50% of a company. But it's like, yeah, to like run 100% of a company. And if you have no experience, like you had experience running companies before too. But I think what people, the mistake they make is just thinking like, oh, like equity. I have a whole YouTube video about how like equity is a trap. And like
equity's fake. Right. Equity's not a real thing. A lot of people get excited about equity. Like, I mean, I'm sure you did it when you were younger.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it when I was younger. I was like,
totally.
Dude. And then you like go brag at an event. And you're like, I own 7 businesses and like the equity's crazy. Like no one's going to, especially in this market, 1% of people are going to sell a company. Most people aren't going to have a company for the next 2 years. So the best thing you can do is make a profit share deal. If you can make a profit share deal, you're good, you're consistent. And so that's when we do agency work, we do profit share deals where we share in the success that we're having together. We also have like an upsell to that, which is kind of like CMO for hire. Like we can make CMO decisions for different channels and stuff like that. Because another thing I try to like really explain out to people is, everyone gets excited. Like everyone thinks building a business now is like, I got to have good copy, decent funnel, and scale my Facebook ads. That's a channel. And if you're doing well on that channel, that doesn't mean that channel can't go away. You need to have all these other pieces. Where else are you driving media? What else are you doing for growth? Like, what does your brand look like? Because if something goes up, I mean, we had an offer here that we were spending $35,000 a day. Facebook was like, nah, I don't like it. And we cut it down to 10 and had to get good at YouTube. And now we're spending 50 on YouTube, right? But like, if we weren't ready, we're like, oh man, this is fickle. Let's just have 2 or 3 more channels. Now we're doing Pinterest. If you talk to the V-Shred guys, who I know you know well, they're in 7, 8 different channels. Like that's how you really grow a business. And I think there's a huge difference between growing a business, a company, an organization, and having a really nice lifestyle business. Neither one of them is right. Neither one of them is wrong. It's just you for sure should know the discrepancies of either, of each, and you should kind of define what you want for yourself.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome advice. It's actually really timely. And it's funny because when I was talking to Laura, like my wife this morning with her skincare company, she got like the ban hammer from Facebook. And, it's been this pain in the ass, and she's been kind of like in the dumps about it, a little bit depressed and bummed and all that. But I talked to her this morning. I'm like, all right, well, like, let's like literally first thing I came into the room and she was kind of sad about it, and hopefully she doesn't mind. I'm gonna have her talk to you after this, but because, I'm like, all right, so like your funnel, your sales page, landing page, like it all converts, right? It's converting at like 2.5%, 3% on like cold traffic on Facebook. I'm like, so that's great. At high ticket too, right? And their AOVs are like $150 to $200. So it's like, okay. I'm like, so that's working. I'm like, your products are really good. Your fulfillment's dialed in. Like, I basically went through the whole list. I'm like, the only problem you have is traffic. And like, you've had this issue with Facebook for, a year now where it's like, yeah, it's great when it can work, but then it doesn't. I'm like, the only thing you should be focused on is just getting other sources of traffic and other ways of getting customers. And like, but I think it's easy for business owners to get really stuck in that. Like, it's like a myopic, like tunnel vision where it's like, oh, Facebook, and but then like Emily Lark, who you probably know, and, Back to Life, and she is doing over 1,000 sales a day. And she recently switched to where 80% of her traffic isn't from Facebook anymore. And like, so to your point, I think it's really smart what you guys are doing. And I think a lot of people, as you're seeing, because I'm sure I think you guys are doing quite well, right? And it's because a lot of people are finally starting to realize that rather than worry about Facebook, as much as Ed Reay, we love you, Ed, and that you can help people avoid the ban hammer and stay compliant. It's like much better to have a diversified source of traffic. It's better to have diversified anything, right? But especially traffic. So it's pretty cool that you guys have kind of figured that out.
So Josh and I have we have a mastermind and a coaching accelerator as well. And the big thing, a lot of drop shippers come in and they're like, Ferrari guys, whatever, like it's this big money play, and they got 3, 4, 5 stores. They're all going down and up and down and up. Someone copies them. And the big thing that this accelerator does is it kind of like, everyone kind of got mad at the beginning because they're like, well, I'm not learning all this Facebook stuff. I'm like, listen, you're going to learn it if you have a problem. But like, if you want a quick Facebook ad course, go buy 100,000 of those things. They're available. Like, you can just find it anywhere in the world, right? What we want to try to show people is like, how do you get on QVC? How do you build a good brand? How do you really maximize Amazon? How does everything speak to each other? How do you get into Target? What can you do with influencer marketing? Can you move into different channels? And that is how you build really sustainability, man, because that's the scariest thing about what we do online. You got something and it's working, and then 2 seconds later, something that is not in your control happens and it's gone. And if you don't know these other things, you're like, well, I guess it's over. And then you just kind of pivot and kind of do something new, instead of like really being like, man, well, we have all these assets, we have all these things, we can leverage this to here, and then try to work with something else into getting us into a new place.
Yeah, no, I seriously think that's huge. So when you've been working with, I mean, it's interesting. So the QVC stuff and obviously working with influencers, the influencer one is interesting to me because it makes so much sense. And I hear people just crushing it, like micro influencer strategies, right? Where they're like, hey, you get a bunch of these micro influencers, like it all adds up. There's like a long tail effect. Have you used that strategy? Do you go for like the bigger named influencers from a promotional, not like to partner with even, but in like on a promotional standpoint, or do you do both? Or like,
if you're small, we're actually launching a masterclass inside of this. We actually trademarked the term nano influencer.
Nice.
So if you have a 2 million, 3 million, 5 million person influencer, the odds are that that person's doing their own thing, so you're not going to actually talk to them, or they're brand slut, and so they have no sales capability. And with Instagram dropping reach and things like that, you're not getting. It used to be, hey, I got a person with 1 million followers, swipe up, we made 100K.
Right.
Now, if that person swipes up, you're lucky to make 10K. If you did, you're like, wow, and you paid them more than 10K, so like you're broke even, or you're bad. Now, if you go into like the nano influencers, that's someone with like 10 to up to 100,000 followers. These people have community, and these people are being followed because they're the people that are following them really love them. They trust them. They're not out there whoring themselves out. They don't have 100 different offers. They really only sell things they believe in. And so those people at scale can create more for you. So one of the things we do is we create like a fake viral campaign. We have a huge network of pages on Instagram. So we'll pay some pages to make a drop at the same time that these influencers all make the drop at the same time. And so you're seeing your product on like 8, 9, 10 different pages. Meme pages that you follow, brand pages that you follow, personal brand pages that you follow, and it creates this like spider web of like, yo, what is this? Who's all using this, right? And so you now have user generated content, you have testimonials, you have a lot of stuff that you can use for advertising as well, and it creates this big effect of being able to build a really nice pixel to later on be able to retarget that and be able to try to get similar people.
Yeah, that's really cool. Especially I've heard from some people who have used influencer strategies and those drops and things that like they don't know when it's coming. So it's like they're just like hanging out, and then suddenly like it could be today or in 3 weeks from now. And so it sounds like, yeah,
you have to be very organized with it. It's like herding, cats. Like you have to tell them what to do, tell them what to say, a variation of what to say, how to use the product, how to look at the product. And if they do it the right way, it's in the contract, they don't get paid. So like you have to get specific, because these people think that, oh, I'll do it my way. Like your way doesn't work. You don't know marketing. You are a great content creator. They're creators. That's what they are. Stop thinking they're business people, entrepreneurs, all these things, famous. They are creators. You like them because you like what they talk about and what they create content wise. Other than that, they don't know what they're talking about. I know for a 100% fact, because I've talked to hundreds of people in that space, right? So they need as much guidance as you can possibly give them, and specificity, so that you can have your campaigns be like spot on.
Awesome. And by the way, in Facebook Live, Tony G said the legendary Los. So you're getting GOAT, legend, getting lots of love. Yeah, but okay, cool. So one question I'm curious about, I think is related, because one thing I think about is what's like next, right? I mean, direct response is not basically ever going away, at least not in the foreseeable future. And the direct response elements are like what I try and explain to other people, where it's like, hey, like even like long form, frankly, isn't going away either. But like, I get it. Like, maybe you get tired of long form and it's not the only medium, but you look at a lot of e-com pages from brands, and there's like all these direct response elements they could be applying, and they're not. And, you're like, oh man, there's a huge opportunity here. And same thing with like, I remember, gosh, you're at the 100 million thing. One of the influencer girls she's got like a 30 million followers across different platforms. And I remember being like, and what I'm realizing now is that, if I get people onto an email list, like that's really valuable. And she was sharing it like she just discovered, like America for the first time. And you're like, okay, like Christopher Columbus, like it's, yeah, but it's cool. They're just behind a little bit. But you're not, you're kind of at the forefront, which is awesome. So given that, I have a PR agency I've been using for some of like the stuff with the Forbes articles. And one thing they've been asking me is, hey, what are some trends you see coming in 2021? To which I've totally have been slacking and not giving them answers. So I won't steal yours, but I am curious, like, as we get towards the end of the year and going into the next year, like what are the kind of trends that you see happening and I guess the world of marketing, e-com, influencer marketing and even direct response? I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah. So in e-com, I think, really in any business, Nano Influencers. Josh has another company that has nothing to do with e-commerce, that is in the insurance kind of ish space, and he's getting C-level celebrities to speak about the product on TikTok specifically because of the virality, and he's getting thousands and thousands of opt-ins, and that, you know, that goes into email. I think one of the trends that no one's going to want to publicize about this, but you'll like it, is I think email marketing is huge. I think communication marketing is kind of like what the next thing is. It's building platforms. You know, back in the day, you know, you see all these funnels, like you only need one thing. And like, that's true if you want to make a couple bucks, up to a million, whatever, right? But if you really want growth, like you need a Facebook community, you need an email marketing channel, you need a text messaging platform, you need to have a messenger strategy, you need to have something going on Instagram, and you need to have, I look at those all as email channels, right? Like this is where I can communicate. I just have, yeah, sure, with regular email marketing, I get 20-25% opens. With Messenger, I get 80% opens. With texting, I get 90% opens. But now, if you blend that, I'm getting 50% opens, right? So that's how I'm communicating with people, especially with influencers. You know, the big thing that I think is going to be huge is the opportunity is partnering with them and creating brands. And you don't have to do full business partnerships. You know, there's plenty of ways that they can get paid. There's plenty of almost like affiliate joint venture kind of relationships that you can kind of like just be a little bit just more savvy about like the structure of how you want things to go. For us, I think that those are two big things. If you're in the make money online or real estate or some sort of like thought leader space, I think it's the same thing, right? Like how many people, we work with a lot of people that are on TV in the real estate space and stuff, and they get huge results, but there's also other people that are on TV that don't do any of this. They're actually flippers. They're actually doing podcasting and all that kind of stuff. Can you create a relationship with them to, you know, do a licensing for their name and, you know, create a product that goes into your back end? Can you spend money on their podcast? No one spends money on podcasts, and podcasts people are 71% like higher in the income bracket. They're making $70,000+. They're listening to you. If it's auditory, people are connecting. I think that the big thing that I'm pushing the next year is like get off of the concept that like you have a Facebook business. If you have a company, you're going to have to do a lot of things that a lot of people don't do. And that's why we succeed with our customers and clients, because like we go like, that's dope, but here's 5 other things we should do. You know, a lot of people, let's talk about the PR thing for a second. A lot of people do it. They do it for the clout. They're like, oh, I get to be in all these things and I get to share it. For me, I started doing it because we work with now like people that are in like CMA, WME, like they're Googling me. And so I don't do it so much for the reach. I do it for the SEO, and I do it for representation of my brand now, you know, and that's way longer play. I'm not making money from it. I don't need to though, because I know that like, if you Google me, there's so much more that comes in, and there's a lot more respect. You're going to get better deals, better stuff. If you're a trainer, if you're an entrepreneur, don't look at it so much as like, let me swipe up and show people I was on Forbes. Spend 3 times as much. So when people go verify who you are, if you're saying you're a consultant and you've done these things, they can back it up by like legitimate publications that show like, oh, okay, this guy's been in the game. He's been speaking. He's been teaching. He's been doing all that. And then platforms, I really think TikTok is probably going to be, prior to even Instagram, one of the most monetizable things, because if you look in China, they have another platform where they're doing like lives and you can buy the products live. I know Instagram is going to probably try to copy, because that's what they do. They just kind of copy ideas. But TikTok will be the forefront of that, and really trying to reach, we're growing. Millennials are getting older. Gen Z is kind of coming in. You need to start relating with those people. Especially if you have products and services inside of the e-com space, because those are the people that are buying. If you look at Snapchat right now, a lot of people that have clothing brands are spending a ton of money on Snapchat, whether it's to build a pixel or just to build brand equity. I think direct response will always have its place, but I think that people need to start thinking less like a Ferrari driving dude and more like a person, and being like, all right, well, this is my extra 10-15% budget. Where can I go get audience? Where can I go get pixels? Where can I go get impressions? Not for the sake of just getting impressions, but like for retargeting, for longer term, for more branding. I think people that are playing that game are going to smoke the guys that just want to make a couple of dollars and get a strong ROAS.
Dude, yeah, no, there's so much gold there. I know Sam Novak said in the chat that her brain was exploding. And then Peter Hewlett too. So Lois dropping some knowledge bombs. But seriously, yeah, that is so much good stuff. And I think even honestly for like a personal brand, like I talked to, I don't know if you know, like Ryan McGinn, who he's doing a lot of stuff for Jason Capital, but like I'm gonna have him start doing like a lot for TikTok for me and like Instagram. And like, right now, Julie, my assistant, puts all my posts up. She takes the pictures, like I write them. But like, and I've been slow to evolve. But I think another lesson for people too, I'm sure you would agree, is even if you feel like you're behind now, it's like you're not, it's better to start doing it. And especially with TikTok, because like TikTok's still pretty early on, right? Like, yeah, there's a lot of people and it's like, but it's still like, it's like where Instagram was. Is it fair to say that's where Instagram was like, 5 years
Yeah,
ago or whatever, 6 years
yeah,
ago? And yeah.
yeah,
So when you look at that, you're like, oh, I wish I had started on Instagram earlier. It's like, oh, cool. Now's your chance here, like TikTok, right?
right.
And like, yeah, but yeah, even for a personal brand, I think like just reaching more people. So I think that's really, really interesting. I mean, do you think TikTok like is there any chance that it goes away and it's not the next thing? Yeah. So I knew that was gonna be the answer, but why? I'd love to hear why.
It's already ingrained. And if you think about the people, let's just say TikTok is like, they're trying to get rid of it, right? Okay, so you get rid of TikTok. I already know all the influencers and all the people that are actually on TikTok can go to their iPhone, change their setting to say that they're in Japan or China or whatever. Boom, they can reinstall TikTok and they're still working on it. So it's not going to go anywhere. Everyone's going to find it and use it the way that they need it to be used. Also, I think that TikTok is totally different than where we're at. Like, Facebook is for how people look at it, like in the space. Facebook's for old people. And it's kind of becoming political. Instagram is for like younger kind of millennials, but the older version of millennials, younger millennials, and then like Gen Z, they're on TikTok and they're on Snapchat.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, right? And so if I know where to hit who I need to hit. And so if you really want to like be smart about things, like where are these people? They're here. Okay. So my Facebook page should talk to these particular people. My Instagram page should talk to these particular people. My TikTok stuff should look a little bit like this. And like, what's the demo? Is it a Black demographic? Is it white dudes? Is it older people? Like switch your pages, be a little bit more dynamic with what you're doing. I know I'm saying like do harder things, but like, everyone wants to make a lot of money. The people that make a lot of money do harder things.
Yeah. And also, I'm sure you would agree. I bet from my experience, because even like with affiliate marketing in 2015, 2016, and to me, it's like, oh, I'm a copywriter, but affiliate marketing, that's not so difficult. Like, well, and I had this like stupid block for the first year, right? And I've said it before. It's like I made $1 million in revenue, lost 200,000, and the next year I was like, all right, I'll do affiliate marketing. And then I made like $23 million in revenue and like netted a couple million, right? And like and not that if affiliate marketing is like old news. No, I mean it's still great. But like the point is, it wasn't actually that hard. It was more like the fear of the unknown, I think. And I think that's probably the case with some of this stuff too. Is it like I wonder. Like, it's not like it's not rocket science, right? But it is doing the work of investing in these platforms, spending the time to figure it out, actually, kind of creating the content and all that. But like, I think for a lot of people, myself included, the thing to remember is like, none of these things are usually like even Facebook media buying is like not that hard, right? It's like, you just have to do it. And then you have to get over the fear of the unknown and actually take action.
With it, right? Like we have, some people that try to come in and we don't really take this type of client on, but people come in and be like, hey, I got an offer. I made 50K twice on Instagram. Now I want to make 100K on ads. And I try to explain to them, all right, well, how long do you have for that to happen? Well, I want to do it next month because I did 50 here. Okay, well, let's look at the logic in that, right? Like you made 50K on an organic people that know, like, on basically your email list is what you did. Right. And then you want to go to cold people that have never heard of you and have never exposed themselves to you. And you have no true sales mechanism, no funnel, no VSL, no anything. And you want to double what you did to the easiest people that it is to sell to you. And when that doesn't work, they're like, well, the ad sucked, this sucks. I'm like, no, bro, your offer is not good. You're not being patient. There is patience. There's losses. I mean, we spend a lot of money. We spend like $4 million a month on ads. And a lot of it is a loss. A lot of it is data, like it's data aggregation. And the people that stay with us a long time and the brands that we build, like I go into a brand, like if we launch an offer, I'm like, all right, well, let's just let's blow like 20 grand real quick. I don't even have an expectation. And I'm not saying you have to,
No,
but
of
like,
course.
I don't go with the expectation of like, well, this 20 grand is going to get us 100, y'all. Like, no, I go like, well, I mean, let's figure out what happened. I mean, you know, it might be 5, might be 10, might be 20, but I'm willing to just lose it to be like, okay, now we know what we did wrong. Then the next one, like we have baby KPIs, and then you grow a little bit more, and then you grow a little bit more. You know, I really think that people need to start looking at things with a more patient base, and with a little bit more like more about the brand. Like we're all entrepreneurs because we want to make a lot of money, but a lot of times we disrespect what gets us the money. We disrespect the business. We're not willing to like put money back into it. Like we're not willing to nurture it. Like you wouldn't treat your wife the same way you treat your business. You wouldn't treat your wife with the same expectation. Like, cook something for me, get me this, get me this. And if she doesn't, go like, well, I'm out, you're stupid. Like that's not how it goes. But you do it to your business every single day, right? And then you're mad because your business isn't treating you the same way. It's like, well, you're not treating it with the tenderness, the love, and the care that it deserves, right?
Dude, yeah, that's so good. Man, just dropping bombs, Los. It's so good. Cool. So we're gonna switch over to taking questions. And so if you have a question, put it in the Q&A. And again, make sure, Eli, I see you and I love you. You're on all panelists. Go to panelists and attendees. Steve Gunn, I know yours was purposely all panelists. Steve, you should talk to Los for sure. Steve's got a CBD offer. Is doing 1,000+ front ends a day with Tommy Chong. And I know they've done some influencer stuff, but Steve, you should honestly talk to Los. But anyway, before we go to Q&A, Ed, as the wonderful co-host, you get the first opportunity to ask questions. So do you have any questions for Los before we jump in?
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually really curious where you kind of see, how do I put it? Kind of like, I know that you mentioned that you have to adjust your marketing message based on the platform that you're on, which is super, super key. A lot of people forget about. I love that a lot, especially as a Gen Z. I appreciate that. So, like, I've seen Instagram steadily go downhill. Is that still a viable option? Like, or is it like seriously diminishing returns at this point? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
So I think that you can definitely make a ton of money still on Instagram. It's gonna still work, like organically. We have people in our groups and even myself, like they can push 50 to 100K a month on Instagram still. The way that they do it is like they create content, and what we do for people is like we create these mini video sales letters. So instead of like you being face to camera, like, hey guys, what's going on? It's Ed. I want to talk to you about copywriting and this and this and this. And like if you want to work with me, just swipe up or DM me. Instead of that, what you do is like almost make it a VSL. You make you take some copy inside of your pages and go, attention, freelance entrepreneurs. And so they're reading it. Have you ever wanted to make money from your computer, especially in COVID during these times? And you're just like making them click, click, click and read it. Look at the screenshots that I have from people that are working with us. Screenshot, testimonial. Now, if you think that this is possible for you, I've set aside some time to talk, blah, 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 but they're reading it. The reason that works better than you telling them is they're reading it to themselves. So they're creating their own hypothesis in their mind of how this can or can't work for them. And then you're addressing the issues, right? You know what the pain points are. You know what the rebuttals are going to be. So that also goes into the sequence like a VSL, but they're reading everything. And then you go, so if you want to talk about this right now, DM the word Copy King right now, and we'll set aside some time to talk. And then everyone starts to DM you. Now that makes it way more organic than you going out pushing, because what happens is like people that, if you're pushing stuff and you're trying to get DMs and swipe ups and that doesn't go well, the algorithm in Instagram is also going to be like, this dude has shit engagement. Like, let's just keep dropping it more and more. But when you have people reaching out to you and people saving your stuff and people sharing that, then it goes like, all right, you get more. And so you're able to consistently get more stuff. Obviously on the ad side, Instagram is really good, especially on retargeting specific videos and stuff like that. But I still think you can do really well on the organic side. What I think that is a really good combo now is kind of doing a double team of giving value and then driving to a free Facebook group, because now you've got all the engagement, inside of that group. You've got a really good community. And we have this process, we call it C4. It's content. It's the content that you're creating for people in whatever modality. Then you're having conversations because you're making them DM you, and then you're moving them into a community where you're giving value, and it goes back to content and conversations there. And when you have all of those, then you have conversions, which is, you know, what makes it explosive. That's why it's like C4 or whatever. And so that's kind of like how we move people into that process, because it's simple. Because people are like, well, what do I say? What do I do? We'll focus on the content first, then take it into DM conversations, then move them into a community if they don't want to buy immediately. And then you consistently nurture those people and build really good conversions.
Dude, that was fucking fire. That was awesome, man. Shit.
Yeah, it's so funny. Steve Gunn was like, oh, I can tell this is going to be, the replay is going to be my heavy rotation. And then, yeah, other people were saying they're going to watch this multiple times. And yeah, I was saying to my chat, I'm going to make my team. I was already thinking about this, like this whole opening part. I'm like, I'll make my whole team watch this like multiple times too. So Les, you're bringing it, bro. I'm loving it, dude. So glad to have you on here. This is so good.
Yeah, man.
I love the concept of taking the concept of a VSL and putting it in the Instagram story. Like I worked with an influencer, and like I worked with a few, but one of them was having a really hard time with their Instagram, and like their engagement rate just kept nosediving. Because it was just hard pitch to swipe up. It wasn't like the organic VSL, like you're saying.
Right.
And like, dude, that would have worked so much better.
So with that too, when you're working with influencers, make sure that you're looking at their insights and make sure that you're looking at their analytics. Likes and comments don't really matter anymore. Are people sharing and saving the content? And a big way that you can get people to engage and share and save the content more is if you do carousels, like educational carousels, just kind of like giving some context, and then also giving some testimonials or whatever the case inside of that, making people swipe. A lot of people share that. A lot of people save that. It's really educational. It brings a lot of value. A lot of times people just create content for the sake of creating content on Instagram to throw some stuff out. And the more you throw out and it doesn't work, the more Instagram goes like, it's trash. And so you need to always be creating different things. The other thing that I do to increase my engagement is I post a lot of memes, but not in my feed, inside of my story. Because what do we all follow? Real talk. We all follow at least 7 to 9 meme accounts, right? Like, and so I grab all types of memes from all types of pages. Because now you're engaged. You don't even know sometimes who you're watching. You're just clicking this thing. And once you fall in love with like 3, 4, 5 funny memes, and then you watch like a VSL, you're already hypnotized through the moment of the memes. And then you get into the VSL and you're like, oh shit, this is for me. And then you watch that, and then that kind of gets you into a really good place of like, okay, this is who I need to communicate. It also like moves people forward inside of like the storyline within stories. If people watch more of your stuff, Instagram will automatically be like, let's show more of this because they keep watching this person's story.
Dude, it's the organic mini VSL meme pattern interrupt.
Yeah, so dude, that's exactly what it is. It's a pattern interrupt, and then you're like, oh, this is the story, right?
Dude, that's so brilliant. Dude, shit.
It is. Yeah. Dude, so stoked right now. This is awesome. Well, shit, let's go to some questions. Ed, go ahead, man. But this is awesome. I mean, I feel like
before we do that, I'm gonna add one more thing. So one of the things you can do to like create like quick cash if you want to do stuff on Instagram, there's a lot of meme pages, right? You go out and you do the viral thing. So we did this for my buddy Bedros. Basically, we created a meme style introduction to him. So like he had a GTR, he lost it because he was broke, made it back when he made money, bought another GTR. And so instead of like putting that as like a boring normal story, we made it look like a meme, almost like Sarah's Discovery or something like that. Like started, how it started, how it's going, but then like wrote some copy for it. And we put it through like 4 or 5 pages at the same time. We spent like $5,000 on this. And so it had a virality effect on all these pages. A lot of people started following him. He got like 10,000 followers. And inside of that, he gave a little like, yo, what's up? This is me, memes, boom, story of like how he does his thing. And he sold like 7 people at $12,000 right after that. So if you want, because you have an offer, think of like, how do I launch this organically? How do I get more people, bring in more people, make my pixel stronger, and be able to monetize immediately what I just created and spent money on? So you're going to get a bigger audience, a better pixel, and revenue immediately.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Dude, so good. Okay. Yeah, Ed, you wanna move into the Q&A section here?
Bro, I want to be selfish. I want to keep going, but okay.
I mean, I know I'm just like gonna like, that's what I said.
Oh,
It's like,
Stefan, I need co-host.
oh my God, my goodness. Sorry about that. Yeah, dude. It's like, and by the way, Los, when we're done, obviously, if you whatever links you've got for like your mastermind that you're doing, anything you guys are doing, make sure you can drop them in the chat or give them to us to drop, and we'll put them in the replay in the description too. But like,
Cool.
That's the funny paradox really quickly about, and I found this too, right? Like if you know me, like I just give away a shit ton of stuff, right? I'm like, hey, here's the blueprint. Literally, here's what, do this. And then people are like, okay, awesome. Can I give you money to like, either help me do it or whatever, right? And it's the same, even when you're talking and I'm like, fuck, like I want Laura to hire you or try to work with you or join the mastermind. I'm like, oh, like I'm going to like, you know what I mean? Like you're just giving, you are giving so much right now, but like, I know, you know how it is. It's gonna come back to you like 10-fold because like, there's so many people who are just going to be like coming into the road.
If you give value, no one's going to do it. If the people do it, then they're going to love you and they're going to appreciate you. And if they don't want to do it, because they're like, that's just, I don't want anything to do with that. Then they're going to hire you. So yeah. I never understand why people try to like, here's the secret to this and that. Like all my stuff always says like, listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I mean, like, because it is what it is, right? And if they can do it, like you're also here to serve. Like you have an audience because you give value, not because you're a dick about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. No, I completely agree. And I'm with you. When people are withholding on information, it's just super bizarre to me and like a scarcity mindset. And
small mindset. Yeah,
it is. And again, I want everybody to do it, right? That's true. Truly. I'm like, dude, I want to make people's lives better. So it's like if everybody does the advice I give, if I give good advice, I'm like, that's great. But to your point, yeah, like it's totally true. Some people are gonna be like, oh, like, but even the people who do it, right? People who crushed it with like my RMBC method, which is like a lot of people, then they all want to join Copy Accelerator, the mastermind, which is right because they're like, oh fuck, I want to be around you more. And so I think it's a good lesson for everybody though who is watching, whether as a business owner, a teacher, copywriter, whatever it is. It's like just being giving is one of the most like it's awesome because it's like what you're being selfless. Truly, you have to do it from a place of selflessness, but like you get like a massive ROI from it. So, but yeah, sweet, cool. David Rosa said beast, which I agree with David. Los is a beast. Okay. Ed, what we got? Who we got?
All right. So Marcus Sortias, he let me know he can't hop on. So I'll read the whole question. Marcus asks, how do you evaluate which influencers to work with? Do you have any tips on approaching influencers and making deals for them to promote your offers?
Yeah. So how do you evaluate people to work with? You want to make sure you reach out to a few people and have them send you a screenshot of their insights and a screenshot of their demographics. Everybody and their mother can get 1 million followers, but if you have followers that are Egyptian, Indian, Brazilian, unless you're selling Egyptian, Indian, and Brazilian products, you're not going to make any money off that. So the flex is cool, but like it doesn't really work for you. So you want people to have tier 1 countries. You want people to have American, Canadian, and UK. If you have those countries and there's good engagement, then you can make a good amount of money through that influencer. Also, the reason you want their insights is because you can see their demographics and how it's basically like looking at ads, right? Like what's the demo, what's the audience, what's the age range? Okay, cool. This person fits my particular scenario. And so what we do is we do deals with influencers. So this is the best one that you can do. You do a deal, say, hey, I'm going to pay you $1,000 for this story and this, little feed post that you do. It's irrelevant to me because I know for a fact that like I don't care about the story of the feed post, right? What I care about is inside of the contract it's going to say, and if it works, I'm going to get to use this on advertisements. And if it works, I'm going to pay you monthly to be able to use this as ads from your page. And so what I do there is I'll pay them their fees or whatever the case, because now I have their audience, I have their page, so I'm communicating my message through their page, their audience, and their demo. And so that's how I do those influencer deals, because it allows you to kind of get like 2 different sources of traffic. It allows you to use their content as user-generated traffic, and you're basically just leasing their page and their content monthly until it doesn't work. Then you flip over into the new one.
Yeah, that's awesome, Marcus. Hopefully that helped. If you want to put in the chat.
Actually, we have a follow-up question from somebody in the chat that's relevant. How do you check if those Instagram followers are real or bot followers?
You will know through the insights. So if you can't tell if they're bots or not, but like you'll tell through the demo of like if you have 75% of your people being Egyptian and Indian, you probably have bots and you have like you have a trash following. Like it's not worth having a conversation. If you have tier 1 countries and 30% are American, 7% Canadian, and like 1% UK. And then you have Brazilians and all that. We're all going to have them because like they're huge places that are just now getting internet, right? So that's okay. We want to give them value, but like mathematically speaking, for return on investment, they're not going to do anything for you. And so that's kind of why we ask for the insights and we ask for pictures of all the demographics. There's also a tool you can go into called Ninjalytics. You might want to get the pro, and then you can look at everyone's score and you can look at kind of like their audiences and gauge if their screenshots are real based off the demo from that software.
Got it. And from my experience, and Lois, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody has, that's like a buttload of followers, like, 10, 50 grand followers, 50,000 followers, and their engagement rate is like they post a photo and they have like 10,000 followers and like one person comments, it's like, yeah, those are all bot.
Hey, yeah. Same as if you have 1 million followers and you're getting, 10,000 likes, it's trash.
Los, what do you think? This is a totally selfish personal question. I'm curious. I know somebody who, cool dude in our space, and he basically has a program where it's like, hey, pay me 10 grand, I'll get you 10,000 followers. And he's manages some big people's like accounts and stuff. And I think part of it is that like, he basically has them all drop your content and link to it, things like that. Another strategy I think he uses that I don't like, but I'm curious to get your take on, is that I think he makes people's profiles like private. So then like you have to like follow to see the content, which I get that, but like, I don't like that one. To me, I'm like, I really don't make mine private. So I'm curious. It's a 2-part question. One is like, have you seen people who offer those services and again, this person is actually in the 100 million mastermind with us. So like, I know he's like,
we do that as a service.
Yeah. So it's like, so it can be legit, right? If it's targeted.
It can, if it's American based. So like we do, we do 5,000, 6,000, I think, for like 10,000 people, because it's getting more and more expensive. But we only focus on tier 1 countries, very specific people, like very specific pages. Because I could go do it for you, but like just do it in pages that are gonna come from giveaways and trash. Those people are gonna leave, so the rate is gonna be really bad. The reason he's locking the account is because that kind of shows that they're bad people already, because I don't have to tell you like to go follow me if you do this or that, because we know that the pages we do work. The reason you do the like account blocking is because most of the people that you're going to get are going to be Indian, and so you're going to complain, be like, dude, or they're going to leave. And if you do these things, the one thing no one should ever do in the world is ever do a giveaway with anybody, because they're trash. Just don't ever do that. It's like a drug addiction. You do it, you gain 50,000 followers, you lose 25, you need to get back because now your cloud is messed up, and they're all non-buyers. Like it doesn't matter, right? Like you need to look at this mathematically. Like if I give you $6,000, can I make $6,000 in 60 days? And can I just keep refreshing that revenue until I feel comfortable? We have some people that spend 40 grand with us on Instagram because the return is so good after a while, right? But yeah, like that, if you're doing the blocking thing, it just means like bad people. You're working with pages that just don't have good audiences and are just sending you. It's the same as media buying. They're just sending you bad traffic.
Interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, I was curious about that strategy because I thought maybe again it was like to encourage people to follow, but I didn't think about it from being bad traffic. So, but hey, if you're doing it too, man, I tell you, I'm gonna hit you up after this call. Right? Like, it's gonna be the most profitable podcast you've ever been on. I'm like, I gotta hit Los up, dude. Ed, let's go on to another question here.
For sure. We got a question here from Robert Woodstock about starting a new brand. So I'm going to unmute him and he will come on and ask the full question.
Cool. What's up, Robert?
Hey, everybody. How you doing, guys? Los.
What's up, man?
Hey.
What's up, man?
So, hey, for a brand, brand spanking new brand just being created, do you have some, hey, these are the things you really need to do. This brand is something something I'm working on. I plan on selling it in 3 to 5 years. But as far as foundational things that maybe you've seen people not do before, causes them a lot of problems down the road, maybe stuff like
is
that.
E-commerce?
It's for supplements.
Okay. The first thing that I would do is have a legitimate budget to hire a real copywriter in that space and use Stefan's Copy Accelerator group to hire that person. I'm not kidding. If you're competing with like gods in this space. Like this is serious when you're getting into the supplement game. So I would for sure have a strong VSL and have someone who can help on the conversion for that. I would make sure that you have the appropriate upsell so you can go get a good average order value. I would have a little bit of a budget later on to test on some influencers that you want so you can start running traffic through that. And I would make sure that the branding is on point. And I would say that there's two different styles of how you want to do this, right? There's like a big brand, like a direct to consumer, which is going to look totally different. And it's going to be appealing to a bigger mass Facebook-based audience than a more like ClickBank offer, which you're going to be focused more on affiliates. It's going to look a little bit different. It's going to say a bunch of different things inside of that. It's going to be harder to run that on Facebook. So kind of pick where you want to get started and don't veer. So if you're going Facebook, big brand, D2C, you can get a good copywriter for that. That's going to be easy, but that brand is going to probably be something that a lot of ClickBank people don't want to take. It's just not a good fit for that audience. And same with the ClickBank affiliate stuff. It's going to be a lot harder later on to drive that into Facebook. And make sure that your product is a little bit unique or proprietary, or at least productize it in a specific kind of way. If it's just greens, you're going to be in trouble. If it's greens with a prebiotic inside of it and it's now creating some sort of thing called Prio greens that like helps your stomach and releases like different things that help heal your gut, then now you have a productized version of something that can really help your copywriter make this special.
All right, great, thanks. What about the actual brand name? Is there a way to protect that?
You can trademark it, and you can go to, if you don't have a brand name yet, you go to brandbucket.com and get ideas on brand names with logos already inside of it that you can just buy.
Great.
Awesome. I know about Brand Bucket. Cool.
Thanks,
yeah.
Thank you, man.
By the way, I hate giving away like something I'm like a good idea for like, you know, going back to being in abundance, but like honestly on the supplement side, so like I'm reading like the carnivore code right now. I'm doing like a carnivore product for somebody. And then like reading that book though, I'm like just totally makes so much sense. And like, I know obviously Joe Rogan was doing carnivore and other people are, but I honestly feel like we're, you know, keto is now like carnivore is like here on the wave. So like if it were me and I was gonna start a new supplement company right now, I'm honest to God, I might do it. It'd be all about carnivore because there are people doing like meat pills and organ pills. But even the other thing too is like, okay, L-carnosine, there's two different things. Or sorry, L-carnosine, L-carnitine, choline, right? Creatine, like all those things which, you know, come from animals. So it's not just like the organ stuff, but you can even still be doing other supplements, but doing it from the concept of like carnivore. Oh yeah, there's pills. Cause I saw them a couple of years ago and I didn't get it. I'm like, why would you just be taking like, you know, like venison organs, like in a pill?
I take this.
Well, now I'm seriously going to go carnivore. Cause like reading like the science behind it is just super compelling. I don't know if you're carnivore or not, but it makes sense. Right. Like, but
I went carnivore for a little bit because we work with Mark Bell.
Yeah.
And he's a huge carnivore guy. And we learned a lot through like, we did his Instagram for a while. And so we like learned so much about the carnivore, which is funny because like I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, like no one's taking advantage of like just carnivore, like specific people. It's niche, but it's the same as keto is going to be. Like it's here for a little while, then it's going to be like paleo.
It's going to blow up.
It's just what you do.
Yeah, 100%. I really think it's the next one. And again, if you look at read the science, everyone should read that carnivore code book. But it's like, I don't want to derail the conversation, but it's just, it makes so much sense. And then but from a copy perspective, okay, because talking about how every plant basically has all these toxins in it because it doesn't want to get eaten and it can't run. It's buried in the ground. So its defense mechanism is all these like toxins and poisons that are inflammatory and all that stuff. There's the stuff about how like you have like, there's way more vitamins in meat. Like the guy's like, there's more vitamins, antioxidants, all that stuff's in meat. You don't need it from vegetables. He's like, plants have a different operating system than animals have. So like when you get stuff from plants, like your body doesn't really absorb it. It's not good. Like turmeric, like, which I've taken a shit ton of turmeric and sold a lot of turmeric, but he's honestly like, turmeric's the fucking worst. He's like, you know, there's all these terrible things with turmeric. Like, you know, you see the copy for turmeric products and they're like, oh, the problem is that, you know, turmeric's not bioavailable. And like, he's like, yeah, it's not supposed to be because like it can totally F you up and do all this stuff. And then like we add like black pepper, which can like stop your liver from detoxing itself. Just
works, yeah.
Dude, there's just so much copy, like from a copy perspective where it's like, hey, like don't ever take another turmeric supplement until you do like don't, you know, throw out your greens. Like is kale causing your allergies? I mean, there's just so much you can do with carnivore. And So again, I'm not like, because Robert, you talked about picking like a unique product, and so then my head went there. So for people who are kind of aspiring to like, create an offer and in the health space, I just it's free advice to your point. Most people won't do it, but I might. But yeah, for people who are looking at starting something, think about carnivore. So
Thank you. I just downloaded the audiobook.
Dude, it's so good, especially as a copywriter. Cause like it was cool. I do a lot of health copy, right? So like I knew what he's like talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I actually know what he's talking about. Yeah. He's talking like inflammatory pathways in the body and like he talks about Dr. Gundry a bunch. And he's like, Dr. Gundry talks about lectins. And you're like, oh, I've talked to Dr. Gundry before. Like, it's just kind of, it's cool.
There's my buddy down the road.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Who we got next?
We got a question here from Marcus again. I'll read it out because he can't come on the show.
Marcus is killing up the questions right now.
Dude, he puts a lot of thought and effort into it. He's saying that in the chat. Good man. What kind of offers work best for influencers to promote? Direct to sale, free plus shipping, viral giveaway, etc.
It depends, and all of them. It depends on the influencer. It depends on the offer. It depends on how you're positioning it. Depends on when your goals are. I wouldn't do free plus shipping. I would try to build a list with an influencer. So, swipe up to get this free thing that I made, or direct to sale. But direct to sale, I would rather push to a funnel. Don't push to your homepage. You got a lot of leaky bucket opportunities inside of a homepage. A lot of people that drop ship just have like a 1 or 2 product thing. If you're smart, even if you do have just one product page, I'd funnelize it, and I'd make people go through upsells and put people through buyer's heat and like make it, try to maximize as much as you can through that. So those are the 2 that I would do.
Dope. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, why do you recommend building an email list rather than doing a free plus shipping or anything like that?
I just want to have the opportunity to mail people and build out my own lifetime value. And I don't know what a funnel is going to convert to a particular influencer every single time, but I know that what we can do in 30 days with an email.
I got you. So it's almost like, because you don't know about the quality of buyer intent of the influencers list, right, you have to start from scratch, because obviously they don't know you like you, trust you. So you have to build up that rapport. And as probably people who primarily hang out more on social media and are exposed to more offers, you feel like they need more time to be nurtured. Is that kind of the deal?
Yeah. So we're basically just addicted to dopamine, and so like everything is a dopamine hit. And so if I tell you to swipe up, you will, and the swipe up is the hit. Like, oh, this is cool. And like after that, like you already kind of have your hit on that. Like you might not want this. It might be too much. You're probably also looking at the phone. Someone could have texted you. So like, I'm just trying to build an asset list. Like when we work with influencers a lot, the other thing is, depending on the relationship, they're lazy. They're like, I already did that. And so you can be, we have a campaign right now for Black Friday or for this. I'm like, well, I already did it. I don't want to make people upset. Well, I'd rather text them or email them and be like, well, I'll make them upset, dude. I'm gonna send an email right now. I want to keep as many opportunities for me to be the one that's messing the ball up rather than them. Because if they mess up, like they don't care about you or the product or anything as much as you care about the product that you're building.
I see. So you want to have as much control over the eyeballs that you get as possible. I see.
Right.
Dude, I like that. It's good.
Awesome. Cool. So we got about 28 minutes left. You feeling okay? You need a hydration break? You're doing all right? Yeah. All right, we go long form with these, but it's awesome. So sweet.
Actually, I have a question of my own.
Okay, sneak it in.
In your like, let's say, in your 30 days that you follow up with them, do you do like classic DR, like long form VSLs? Because like you mentioned, each platform you have to treat differently. So if you're marketing to somebody who's 30, 50, 60 plus on Facebook, they're going to sit and watch a 50-minute VSL. But a person my age who's 20 or younger or like a little bit older in that category, it's less likely, I think, to fit.
Oh, you're right. You're totally right. Yeah. So we don't do much long form DR or VSLs in e-commerce at all anymore. And we've tested it, and I know plenty of people that would say the complete opposite, that are doing way more than us, and that's also correct. But like for us, we go for our average goal to try to get somebody is with email, images, like different brand-based stuff on email. It's less like that long form stuff that you'll see, like more real direct response kind of offers come in. It's more like trying to engage, hey, sale, get this, or it's actually an educational piece of content that drives you to an advertorial that inside of there sells the product directly. No VSL, just like, hey, click here, and then you go to the product page. And if not, we'll basically just do like a quick lander with like 2 to 3 minute videos on what you have, what's going on, boom, boom, and click the link below. We go quick with it. For us testing it, it always converts better when we go long form. We don't have the same conversions. And I think that's just like a different audience. I think, I think everything does matter. I do believe that the ClickBank style brands and the D2C style brands in e-commerce are totally different, right? Like you're not going to get, if you were selling a mattress through ClickBank, you would have to talk about how in the Himalayas, there's a certain kind of cotton that was found that people used to like figure out how to make by themselves and lay themselves in a bed. And that's the specific cotton that's in these beds. And you can only get it from them, and it's organic and natural and all this, because did you know that if you use the other kind of cotton, you could get cancer, right? Like, so that's the stories that are happening over there. Casper's never going to do that. They're like, no, dude, our mattress is fucked. Look at this. We dropped a little egg here and the stuff stays. This is the technology. Buy my stuff right now. Boom, right? And so we talk to more of those people than these people, because we run, in our experience, we've worked with a lot of people on ClickBank. We can't get those offers to go because of compliances and different things like that. And so we had to make a hard point one day and be like, well, what do we want to do? Well, let's just go over here and work with brands that have a different kind of budget and a different kind of goal. And so we kind of focus on more like the millennial, less boomers. It used to be our audience was more kind of like the Walmart Target mom with $75,000 medium household income, and now it's a little bit more blended, and so we have different conversations, and that's why email segmenting is so important in these particular situations now too.
I love that. So it's almost like you're adjusting your marketing message and your formatting to market to the ADHD dopamine junkie, but also the skeptic too.
Yeah, so like with text messaging, right? We know statistically through all the text messages that we've sent that if you are a millennial all the way up to 40 years old, you will 100% reply to our text message marketing and you enjoy it. Now, past that, if you're 45 to 60, you hate it, you press stop, and you never click and never buy. Like for us, like we've seen that now. We're like, okay, so if it's this kind of a list, we go for Messenger, because you actually want to spend all your time telling us who you are on Messenger. And someone who's younger is gonna be like, dude, I don't have time for that. Send me a text, let's go. And so you have to be specific about who you're having conversations with nowadays, especially if you're driving, big media. Like, sure, you're driving broad, but like different segments where you're going to be able to have people lay out in their own pockets, right? So I know that like when we build a text list, I know the demo of that, and we build a messenger list, I know the demo of that as well. So you speak to them differently.
Dude, I love that. And the funny thing is, especially in our industry, I feel like we're kind of like, we have a hammer, we think everything is a nail, right? And it's like, oh, throw a long form thing on that, throw a long form thing on that, and that's cool because it works really well for a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who we actually talking to. Like one thing I've seen a lot of people do is they, sorry, Stefan, I guess I'm taking over.
It's fine. I'm having a whole sub chat about carnivore diet in the chat anyway, but also listening to
this.
I'm
having a good time here. But they don't take into account like who they're actually talking to. Like they'll try and put people on Instagram into like a 30, 40, 50 page long form thing, and these are just like 17-year-old kids who are looking at just memes, and they want like that quick hit of dopamine, and they just want to buy quick or get out, and like they're not going to sit and read long form as much. Again, there's always exceptions to the rule, but most people just won't do that.
The thing that people don't realize is like people will buy. You're stubborn and you think they're going to buy your modality. They're going to buy their modality, and you're just not willing to build a different modality for them to buy your thing. And that's the reality of it, right? Like there's a bunch of different people you're really talking to, and if your offer becomes stale, what does everyone do? Go like, offer sucks. What can we do? New offer, right? You should be testing and using that as a control. Like, all right, how do we use the majority of this control to like start talking to like a younger demo, or like shorten our pages, or make it prettier, or make it uglier, and start to talk these different demographics, or switch into like, if I'm doing just keto, cool, can we make a page that's just CrossFit and keto, and how that like really helps? And can we do something for like aging and collagen benefits of using this keto collagen for this, for older people, and like anti-aging angles? Like, switch the conversations. Like, I understand obviously that scale means like more, but it also means less. Like, the more you scale, the less conversions you have. And so you have to figure out like, okay, well, how can I create more opportunity, whether it's inside your email or different channels, to try to get more scale from the scale that I'm actually doing, and getting more conversions rather than less, because it's just math, right? The more you scale, the more people are not interested in this offer, because you're just going to such broad places. And so that's where you're getting the 1% and the 2% and the 0.5s, and it's still profitable. But what if you could have another little pocket where you're getting another 2.3, 0.7, 0.8, and start building that all into like a blended like 2% all traffic?
I see Ed's mind computing and like just being partially blown, but also it's sinking in.
Yeah, dude, I love this. I love organic media. I don't do anything. I don't do it at all for my own brand. So it's super fascinating for me. So when you have these like shorter form or e-com style pages, do you find that they convert well on cold traffic without having an influencer behind it, like promoting it?
Sometimes they need a face. They need a face for a small VSL to get better conversions. We've tested it without one, and the conversions definitely go lower, because now it's just a random brand that I don't really know about, even if it has clean branding. Like, there's no one telling me anything. And what you can do in a long form is you can tell a story, and you can't do that if you're going with a shorter form. And so you have to have someone kind of being that face. And it doesn't necessarily have to be anymore an influencer. It just has to be an attractive character that believes in that brand. If they can speak well and they're dynamic in the video, then that will be fine. So you can hire actors. Blue Star Nutraceutical, if you guys see that, like they're working with like subpar fitness dudes, right? They're not famous fitness dudes. They're not massive. They're just okay dudes, but they know they can speak well. They look good, and they play the part, and that crushes.
Yeah, I bought one of their protein powders. Actually, that's funny. Dude, that's so cool. Shoot, I was asking one more thing. What was it? Right. Okay. So when you say like more e-com style, that's basically just being very product focused. It's like, hey, here's what I've got for you. Like, it's like if you were to take, the long form sales letters, like there's the lead, there's the,
right,
body text,
yeah,
and everything else.
You're still gonna, I think, taking a little bit less of emphasis in like the big part of the story, which is a huge thing, and like moving how the story has to do with you. I think with e-commerce, it really starts with the ad, right? Can you have a really good ad? Is it an ad where it's a video and you kind of have an idea of like what this is, right? If you do, you're moving into phase 2, which is already the product page, and that's probably going to be a funnel, right? And so that funnel is going to have a 2-3 minute video, be like, hey, I know that you saw our supplement, and the big thing that I want to talk to you about is why most people buy supplements like this and it's trash. It's because of the formulation. So we created a formulation that does this, and it has prebiotics, because the reality is you can't actually, your gut is going to process 15% of this instead, because it doesn't have a prebiotic. Now, a prebiotic's better than a probiotic because of this and this, and our formula combines all those things into one, and it's patent tested, prove it, and organic. So click the link below, check out the testimonials, and we'll talk to you soon, right? And so in the bottom, it's ingredients, what else is going on. It still has some, but it's not a 35-page letter. It's probably like at the end, if you like document it, it's probably like 4 pages and a quick little 2-3 minute VSL. It also allows us to iterate quicker on like, oh, that VSL, when you're looking at like running big traffic, right? You're changing headlines, you're changing the video, and you're changing probably price points. Then if you want to get like technical, you're looking at buttons and stuff, but that's almost irrelevant compared to those 3 main changes. If I got a 45-minute VSL, like I gotta set up like everything and see like, where did they drop off? What happened here? What happened there? Like if I got a 2 to 3 minute VSL, I can go like, I don't like this and this, change this, add this, and actually give me a whole new one, but use this as another topic, where you can run things against each other and run a split test, right? And so it just acts as the quicker way to iterate products for you to be able to, test when you're scaling offers.
I love that. So it's all like from what.
And after this follow up, I do want to get to their Q&As too and make sure we get to
sure. I'm sorry. I'm just having a great time here.
I
So it's almost like, if you could put it this way, it's almost like having an 80-20 over like,
Right.
basically the whole thing. Like if you were to, take 40 things, like 40 pages and shrink it down to 10 or like even 5.
You can shrink it down to 5, or you can shrink it down to 2 different pages and test.
And then you focus more on like the actual mechanism of the product, because they're just so sophisticated. They don't want to hear the story. They don't want to hear. They're just like, okay, like what's in this? Like,
what's the strongest thing the fold can have? And anything under that is going to be like what's inside of the product and some extra benefits, and then buy. Right? Testimonial heavy type stuff, user generated content videos, those are very important to have. But really we try to figure out like what's the strongest message that we're trying to say. Like if it's a Black Friday sale, get your teeth whitening kit, available right now, only these many things left, guaranteed to smile, immediate smile success in like 9 days or less, blah, blah, blah. So I know what I got. I know what it is. I saw the ad of like beautiful people with their teeth. Okay, cool. Well, scroll down, like what's inside it, why it's different, how it works with your phone or wireless, whatever, right? And then boom, I got a pretty good idea what this is. Click, and then that's it.
I love it. Okay, I have more questions, but we got to go to other people.
Yeah, it's all been gold. But yeah,
I'll give you my number. We can talk offline.
For sure, man. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So question here from Lutfi about scaling ecom on YouTube. So go ahead, Lutfi. I'm unmuting him and he'll ask a full question.
Hey, Los. Hey, Stefan. Hey, Ed.
What's up?
Yo, dude.
Yeah. So I run a lot of YouTube ads for like consultants and like coaching kind of offers. So I'm wondering if you have any tips for scaling ecom offers on YouTube, especially in terms of the creative.
Yeah. So scaling YouTube, we have one of our offers. We're doing, I think, like $30,000-$40,000 a day on YouTube. We actually are spending less on Facebook because of compliance issues. They're just assholes. And so with that, the big thing with YouTube is, so Facebook, you can kind of throw anything out. You can get quick iterations. You can throw images, and you can kind of like get a quick conversion. Facebook's always going to like give you preference on like that initial little budget that you have. And if you have something, normally, even still nowadays, you can like bump the budget up 20% and get a little bit more scale and start testing stuff out. Now with YouTube, it's going to be more about like the video. Like it's going to take you longer. You're going to see less conversions at the beginning because you really have the strong YouTube video has to come in first. And so when you do a Facebook video and you try to take that video to YouTube, you're going to bomb. What you need to do is have a video that has a something that kind of like, it's kind of like a pattern interrupt, boom, immediately, then some sort of education, and then you want to have a call to action, right? And so you want to have a pattern interrupt, then show what your product does, how it works, and why it's special, and then have a call to action and try to create some sort of scarcity, like limited quantities, only this, click now, blah, 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 only for you guys. You can do some special cool things and targeting depending on like what your offer is with that. But it's all about the video, because when you're scaling an offer on Facebook, you have a lot of opportunity to like, oh, the ad doesn't work, like this is a problem, like the account shut down, like all these things. With YouTube, you can ride one ad to like $1 million a month, but you have to get that one ad right. And that one ad should lower your CPMs. It should get you better CPAs. But to get that one ad, you might have to do way more iterations than you would while you're making money on Facebook. But scaling is a little bit easier on YouTube once you have that one ad.
I see. So do you have like a testing process for testing the creatives on YouTube?
We do have a testing process. I'll try to get a document over to Stefan, because it'll probably take us 40 minutes just to talk through that.
Okay, got it. Any chance like you use Facebook as like a testing platform before you like move the creatives to YouTube?
We normally try to get someone to $100,000 a month on Facebook before we even consider YouTube.
Okay, so you wouldn't like test a new offer on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook's just cheap and easy. YouTube's a little bit harder.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
For sure. Let's go to the next one.
We got a trifecta from Max here, but quadfecta? Max,
know.
we'll do one or two. We'll probably focus on the big leap one, but sorry, go ahead and
For sure. Let's do it. And by the way, Lost, side tangent. I'm versed in Facebook compliance. I'd be happy to help you out.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right, cool. So we got a question here from Max. Let's see, about the upper limit and where they show up in your life.
Cool. What's up, Max? You there, bud?
Okay. Now I'm unmuted.
Yes,
Nice.
I was
sir.
muted.
What's up,
How are
what's
you
up?
guys? Everything fine? Let me be quick here so we can get to some more questions. So I was talking, the question was about limiting beliefs. And I also read Stefan's recommended book, which was the Big Leap.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, how did you guys at Lowe's and Stefan, how did you guys burst through those limiting beliefs and upper limit, like self-negative talk and all that stuff?
Dude,
How did you work in it?
honestly, my limiting beliefs, this is going to sound super cocky, but it's not meant to be that way. But I don't really have limiting beliefs. I really came from nothing in my life. I've lost multiple businesses. I've lost multiple millions of dollars. My dad ended up killing himself. I've almost died from like pneumonia. Like I've gone through anything and everything that a human being can go. And so I realized that I've always persevered. Like every time something happens, I come back bigger. The only time that something has ever stopped me is when I used to go to like masterminds and events and like dick measure myself against people that are doing whatever they're doing and try to think that I had to do the same thing. Once I stopped doing that and I was like, I am me, I'm trying to build this for myself, for my family, for my homies. Like this is what I want out of my life. Once I started looking at that, like nothing ever really mattered anymore. And it's been really good for me because I don't really fear anything. I mean, one exercise you can do, man, is go to, and I had a friend do this to me. He took me to like the most expensive part of an area, and he made me imagine buying like this ridiculous house. And then he took me to like the most impoverished place there, and he was like, "What would happen if you lost your business? What would happen if you lost your friends? What would happen after that? What would happen after that? What would happen after that?" And he took me to a place of like death and misery, and was like, "Dude, I guess I would be dead." And he's like, "How do you feel?" I was like, "It's horrible." But then I was like, "But that's impossible. Like I'm already at a place in my life where that just, it could not ever physically happen." And he's like, "So why are you stressed out?" And then I was, I guess I'm not. And ever since that day, I was like, I have nothing to be afraid of. And I do believe also, like, I'm a big like positive dude. I don't get involved in talking bad about people. I don't say negative words about myself, about other people. I don't drive that kind of energy to anything because I believe like it really does come back. I'm pretty like karmic based, not like woo woo, but I do believe that what you think, you need to like really believe it. If you think something and you're like trying to force yourself, I'm going to tell myself this. You believe something, you think something, you believe something, you take action on that, and then you live like that is your thing, and that is just a reality that's going to happen in your life. Is it going to happen like in 2 minutes? No, like it's not. Like life takes a minute, right? Like be okay, but like keep living that way, and more things are going to happen for you than if you keep stressing yourself, giving yourself anxiety, raising your cortisol levels, creating like face stress, right? Like be more present, because anxiety is just you future pacing things that haven't happened. And so being present kind of like relieves that stress. And like, well, that's not real, and it's not here today. And if it is, I'll deal with it, and we'll be fine the next step.
I loved it, dude.
That's awesome.
I'll see you in episode 2.
Sounds good, man.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max. Awesome. Ed, let's get, I see like Eli's got one, Kamidu's got one, I think. And then I see Isaac and Mike. We'll see if we can get through all 4, but let's go to we're going to go to Eli next.
You want to do speed round? You want to do?
Let's get Eli. Eli, you just gotta be you gotta be succinct, Eli. But
I got a hard 5 because I have a 2:30, dude. I'm sorry.
that's okay. That's fine. We try to end on time.
We're down for round 2 one day. Like
that's okay. Yeah, I'm down to do that. All right. Well, then let's speed round it then. Can you? Yeah.
Cool. Do you want me to read them out?
Yeah.
Let's go. Eli goes, Los, what do you think of TikTok influencers also as an agency? Do you prefer paid traffic channels over influencers? And what's the main KPI you use to compare both?
They're both paid traffic. So if you think about it like that, like you're just spending money on a different modality. So I prefer paid over anything in general. I love TikTok influencers. I think they're the future. And I just think you have to find the right ones, and again, be patient with it. I would start for the most part, if I have a budget and I have a particular product, I would just look at it as like, what do I need? Do I need an immediate ROI? Maybe test out a TikTok influencer. If I have a little bit of budget to like really do some real testing, I'd probably test that out on Facebook first. I always go Facebook first, then you go YouTube. Always buy brand terms and stuff on Google and different things like that. When you have more revenue, maybe go into Google Shopping. And if you're kind of like a paid personality, kind of like, like Stefan and myself and stuff like that, I would just go Facebook first, because influencers aren't going to be as good as you selling some sort of video sales letter or application-based funnel.
Sweet. Awesome, Los. Thank you for that. Cool. Let's go to Kimmy Doos next, since we answered one of Max's.
All right, so Los, what is your take on TikTok ads and the best niches to advertise on there?
Health, finances, and debt consolidation, and that's it. Those would be really good ones. Health, wealth, and personal development. That's what life's about. That's what everyone sells at the end of the day.
True.
It's funny because it's what they say for direct response copy, niches, offers, like long play. It's like it doesn't change, right? It's like doesn't matter it's just a different platform, a different medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. All right, next question from Isaac Hyde. Any advice on pivoting from just emails for an influencer to handling social media posts and ads for them too?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I just do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Question from Michael Joyce. Is there any solution for really high-end, low-volume items like yachts, luxury items, luxury estates, etc., with limited confirmed sales? Really needle in a haystack scenario, and most buyers come from referrals.
So if you have a yacht company, you should have influencers come to your yacht, promote it, have parties, do stuff like that. That'll blow up your account, and it'll get similar people that want to be like them to approach you. There's a company called Luxury something Instagram that does that for people in Miami. There's a lot of hotels like the Viceroy. A lot of hotels will give you free amenities and stuff like that, so you promote that stuff. I would go more promotion-based stuff with influencers than paid traffic. You're not going to get that demo. You're not going to get that right message on paid media. That's going to be a needle in a haystack. But influencers, if you can have a budget, you can have a business.
Awesome. Dude.
Oh, that's kind of like the Fire Festival method, eh?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like actually have the event.
Fulfill, right? Yeah.
But actually fulfill, yeah. Don't go to jail.
don't go to jail and give people bread sandwiches and FEMA tents. Dude, I don't know if I was supposed to, I was in Miami to go there. I didn't buy tickets, but a friend did, and he was like taking all of us, and Laura had never been to like a festival ever. So she was like so excited. And we got there and like, we're getting a group text, and people were like, I don't know, there's some sketchy reports. And I'm like, I'm sure it's going to be fine. And then we ended up not going. We're like, we'll go tomorrow. And super stoked we didn't go there and get stranded on Fire Island. That would have sucked.
That's clutch.
Dude, Los, thank you so much for being on, for this incredible wisdom.
Thank you for having me, man.
Dude,
I'll make sure I get your number from Stefan and we'll jam, man.
Yeah, for sure. I just give you a follow on Instagram, dude, so we can chat there if that's cool for you.
Yeah,
and then we can text after.
Los, do you have any links or anything you want us to share? I can do. I'll put them in like the YouTube description and stuff like that. But if you have anything, where can people follow you? I mean, on Instagram or what? What's the best way?
Los Hustle on Instagram, and I'll direct you to whatever we have, because I don't even know our funnel pages.
Okay, awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time today.
Man. Thank you guys for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Of course. All right, thanks, man. Bye.
Later.
Cool. So that's gonna wrap it up. Ed, you did awesome today. Thank you for taking over while I was having a carnivore diet chat for a stretch of time. But
thank you for letting me do that. That was a lot of fun and very insightful.
Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, like I cannot wait to just I'm for sure gonna hire Los for some stuff. I mean, that guy just is so smart. Loved it. So thank you everyone for watching, and this will end it up. Oh, cool. Is it Ed Reay just put the Instagram link in? Cool. Perfect. Thank you all. We'll see you all next week. Actually, we won't see you next week because next week is Thanksgiving. So next week there will be no Road to Billion. I know the sadness, the tears, the pain. I'm pretty sure Laura would kill me if I do a Road to Billion on Thanksgiving. So it's gonna be a week off next week, almost for sure.
What am I supposed to do on a Thursday, bro? Like, dude,
I don't know, but I know. I guess you're Canadian, so I don't know. I'm gonna be eating turkey and probably not following the carnivore diet. But anyway, love you all. Thank you. See you all next week.
Later.
Bye.